Right, today I thought I'd talk about how to grow big hostas. So this is my main garden here. Um, this wasn't originally my plan to make this where I put all my big, all my big hostas. But I put some here and they got big, so this became my big hosta garden. Why does this garden grow so big? Well, there's a few factors. The first thing is the soil's really good. It was 10 yards of triple mix, just in this kind of general area here when I first moved in, and there was quite a severe slope here, and the soil was just like rock. So I just built the fence and made the garden with the soil, and so far so good. The property actually has a fair slope on it, and this is right at the bottom, so all the water that at the top just comes into here. So the hostas are always moist. They always get lots of water and nutrients, right? Because I do fertilize fairly heavy. And the other thing is, it's really important, and it's often overlooked, is giving them the right kind of light. If you want to get the big giant leaves, ones like ones like this or that, or any of these big leaves, if they get too much light, the leaves stay small. If they don't get enough light, the plant stays small. So you kind of have to find that Goldilocks zone, and it's a rough estimate, 3-4 hours of direct sun. Doesn't matter that much when it comes. Ideally you want them protected between 12 and 3. Mostly it is here, except for in the center here. It gets a fair bit of sun during that time, but for the rest of the day it's dappled light. So I planted these trees here and pruned them, the Japanese maple and the honey locust, and I pruned them so it'd actually give the garden nice high shade, so lots of light gets through, but it isn't getting blasted by direct sun and the heat. That's key to getting it big. So with the water and the good soil, tree root competition, some trees are better than others. Ones that I've had success with planting under: Japanese maples, honey locusts, oak trees, because they put out a big taproot, so they don't really interfere with the growth of the hosta at all. The worst ones are, fruit trees, dogwoods, anything that puts out a big, shallow, very tight root system. I know with the cherry tree, I made a garden up there, and it just turned into that I have to completely change my whole plan for the garden. Love the Cardinals and the Blue Jays, but I am from Toronto area. So keys to getting the hostas big, I'll just give a few bullet points here. First one, site them right. Give them the right light, not too much tree root competition, lots of water, good soil, and give them room to grow. Like, you have to leave the plant alone. Pick where you want it to go and leave it. It takes 6-7 years for some of these plants to actually hit their full potential, and if you move it every couple years, it's never going to get big. And just, when you're planning the garden out, research a bit, find out what you're buying. If the plant's adult size is 30 by 72 inches, don't plant them 2 feet apart, plant them 6 feet apart. That way you don't have to keep moving them, you can just let the thing grow. And just leaving it there is really the key to getting them big, with the water and the right light. Anyways, if anyone else has any tips, you can certainly put them in the comments. go over a couple of my hostas that I put in here that I really like. This one put in last year. Goodness gracious. I would look for it for years. I really like the plant. This one is pretty exceptional this year. It can take a lot of sun and it just burnishes a really nice gold. I didn't actually think this plant ever got that gold, but I'm quite happy with it. Just behind it there is Lakeside Cha-Cha. This is a plant it's close to getting rid of. Just kind of put it there. Now it's starting to grow on me a bit. It's starting to look like a nice plant. Apparently it gets pretty big and tall too, so it's got a bit of room there to grow, but not if this one grows. So anyways, that's next year's problem. And Paradigm, Nancy Gill, that's Empress Wu. I think it's a very overrated plant. Yeah, it gets big and it gets big leaves, but there's so many nicer big hostas that'll get 90% as big as that one and look much better. And there's Sege, old school, old classic, great hosta. It's slow growing, but eventually it will get huge. And it's very durable. Like, it doesn't seem to suffer from a lot of problems. It just keeps going. And there's my old Summit Substance. That's the first hosta I ever bought. And that's actually a transplant there about 4 years ago from a garden where it was getting choked out, and put 2 little pieces there and it just turned into a monster. It's very close, if not over 6 feet from point to point. And next to it is Atlantis. Again, if you see one, buy it. Great plant, very, very hardy, very fast growing, very durable. Can take a little bit more dryness than some. And again, with another one really nice, Cold Heart. Again, super durable plant. It can take shade, it can take sun. I like it better with a fair bit of sun on it. The color's much better. And another one, Awakening Angel. It's not looking at its best right now. It's just it's been so hot here. All the wax is burned off the leaf. But again, it's a good durable plant and a good performer. And here's one I bought this year. This is my only purchase of a hosta this year, and that is Bridal Falls. I think it's, when it gets big, it gets very exotic looking, although as a first year plant, I think it's pretty good. Now it's gone from, it was greenhouse grown, so it's gone into the real world now, so there's a little bit of damage on it, but overall it seems to be adapting quite well to its new home. And sometimes it's nice to put in a little bit of color in with the hostas. This is a spot with got a daylily in there. Hopefully it blooms soon. I moved it this year, so it may not. This is a Maltese cross. It can take doesn't need full sun to bloom, and a very bright plant. I really like it. I've had it for a number of years. But I'll show you the difference on my other garden here where I planted some stuff, on how much difference tree root competition and water makes, because basically the light's kind of the same. So 6 feet across, giant leaves. And then as we kind of head up the yard, that's the new garden I cut in this year. I'll talk about that one another day. So this is the garden I put under the cherry tree, and everything is so much less lush, and plants have been in here a long time. So there is Summon Substance that's grown in root competition its whole life, same age as the plants in the other garden. It's off the same original plant. Got to put something here now that I've dug the garden, but kind of keep it as a kind of a talking point, I guess. And again, it's just so dry up here. Like, you can water it soaking wet for 45 minutes. A day and a half later, it's bone dry again. And there's the Kimberley Queen Fern. It was a freebie this year. I don't know if I like it or not. It was out during that really cold May, so I probably set it back a touch. And yeah, what really thrives in here, well, not really thrive, but they survive in here. The undulatas, lancifolia. That's a really super fast grower. It's been the same size since I put it in there. Pearl Lake. Even the Dicentra, the bleeding heart. It doesn't get very big in there. It's been in there for 8 years. Should be a monster. So just watch the tree root competition and make sure they can get enough water. Your hostas will do good. Anyways, thanks for watching.